OutDaughtered, star Danielle Busby shares family portrait, and fans are in disbelief. OutDaughtered star Danielle Busby shared a family portrait to mark her husband Adam's birthday, and fans of the TLC family are in disbelief over how much their kids have grown. On June 10th, the mom of six, a daughter, Blake, 14, and all-girl quintuplets, Ava, Olivia, Hazel, Riley, and Parker, 10, took to Instagram with a tribute to the father of her kids. "Happy birthday to my one and only Buzz at Adam Buzz," Danielle wrote in her update. "This man. He is full of talents and gifts, is a perfectionist with anything he puts his mind on, is full of sarcasm 90% of the time, and loves to get a rise out of anyone, especially his little girls. And me." She concluded, "The life we have together is definitely a super special one. Thankful for you, and love you big. Happy birthday, my love." In the featured image, Danielle included a sweet photo of herself with Adam. A second snap showed the entire family of 8 smiling together. In the comments, Instagram users flooded Adam with well wishes on his birthday. Others couldn't believe how much their daughters had grown. One fan pointed out, "Oh my gosh, Blake is so tall, she's almost as tall as her dad." Another shared, "Beautiful photo. Wow, is Riley getting tall?" Someone else echoed, "Wow, the girls will be taller than you pretty soon. And your older daughter. So tall. Blink, and this is what happens, such a sweet family." A different follower declared, "What a beautiful family." Meanwhile, yet another fan summed it up perfectly, writing, "It has been an absolute joy to watch your family grow from when they were babies. Such a beautiful family. Happy birthday." Something unexpected happened recently that completely caught fans of OutDaughtered off guard. It all started with what seemed like a simple family post. Nothing dramatic. Nothing controversial. Just a photo of family portrait shared by Danielle Busby. But within minutes of the picture appearing online, fans began reacting in ways nobody really expected. People were shocked. Some were emotional. Others were confused. And many simply couldn't believe what they were seeing. The Busby family has always been one of the most recognizable families in reality television. For years, viewers have watched Danielle and Adam Busby raise their 6 daughters, including the famous all-girl quintuplets. Fans have seen their highs, their struggles, their chaotic household, and their emotional family moments. So when Danielle posted this latest family portrait, people immediately started examining every detail. And that's when the reactions began pouring in. At first glance, the photo looked like a beautiful, wholesome family moment. The Busby family standing together, smiling, looking happy. The kind of photo that usually makes fans feel warm and nostalgic. But something about this portrait felt different. Very different. Fans quickly began flooding the comment section with messages of disbelief. Some said they couldn't believe how much the girls had grown. Others pointed out how dramatically the family had changed since the early seasons of OutDaughtered. And then there were those who said the portrait made them emotional because it reminded them just how fast time has passed. One fan wrote that it felt like just yesterday when the quintuplets were tiny babies fighting to survive in the NICU. Now, they're growing up so quickly that it almost feels unreal. Another fan said the photo made them stop scrolling immediately because the transformation of the Busby family was simply shocking. For longtime viewers, the portrait didn't just represent a picture. It represented years of memories. Years of watching this family grow. Years of following their journey. Danielle Busby has always been open with fans about her life as a mother of 6 daughters. She has shared the challenges, the exhaustion, and the joy that comes with raising such a large family. But this new portrait seemed to hit fans in a particularly emotional way. Many people said they couldn't believe how mature the girls now look. Blake, the oldest daughter, looked especially grown up in the photo. Fans remember when she was just a little girl learning how to adjust to suddenly becoming the big sister of 5 babies at once. Back then, life for the Busby family changed overnight. 5 premature babies arrived, and the world suddenly became interested in their incredible story. The Busbys became the first family in the United States to have all-girl quintuplets survive. That alone made their story extraordinary. But what made fans fall in love with them was their authenticity. The chaos of 5 babies crying. The sleepless nights. The endless diapers. The moments where Danielle and Adam looked completely exhausted, but still determined to make it work. Over the years, viewers watched those tiny babies slowly grow into energetic little girls with their own personalities. And now, looking at this new portrait, many fans say they can barely recognize them. Not because they look unfamiliar, but because they look so grown up. Some fans even joked that the girls are growing faster than anyone expected. One comment that received thousands of likes said something simple but powerful. Where did the time go? That question seemed to perfectly capture the feeling many fans had while looking at the photo. Because for those who have followed the Busby family since the beginning, it truly feels like time moved too fast. Danielle herself seemed aware that the portrait would stir emotions. Her caption hinted at the deep love she has for her family and how grateful she feels for every moment they share together. She didn't say anything dramatic. She didn't make a big announcement. But sometimes, a simple photo speaks louder than words. And in this case, it definitely did. Fans began analyzing every detail of the portrait. The girls' outfits, their smiles, the way they stood together as a family. Some people noticed how close the sisters appeared, showing the strong bond they've developed over the years. Others focused on Danielle and Adam themselves. Many fans commented on how proud they looked. After everything the couple has been through, raising 6 daughters, balancing work, dealing with health issues, and navigating the pressures of reality television, seeing them standing together with their daughters felt powerful. It felt like a moment of reflection, reminder of how far they've come. Of course, the Busby family's journey hasn't always been easy. Danielle has openly discussed health challenges that have affected her over the past few years. There were times when fans became deeply concerned about her well-being. At one point, she even had to step back from certain activities while doctors tried to understand what was happening with her health. During those moments, fans showed incredible support. Messages of encouragement flooded her social media accounts. People prayed for her recovery. They sent love not just to Danielle, but to the entire Busby family. Because for many viewers, the Busbys don't feel like distant celebrities. They feel like family. And that emotional connection is part of what made this new portrait so impactful. Seeing Danielle smiling, surrounded by her daughters, felt reassuring to fans who had worried about her. Some even said the photo made them emotional because it looked like a symbol of strength, a symbol of resilience. One comment said the portrait represented a family that has been through so much but still stands strong together. Another fan wrote that the picture reminded them why they fell in love with OutDaughtered in the first place, not because of the drama, not because of the chaos, but because of the love, the genuine love between parents and their children. As more fans continued to see the portrait, reactions kept growing. Some people shared the image with friends. Others reposted it with emotional captions. And slowly, the photo began spreading across fan communities dedicated to the Busby family. Many of those fan groups began discussing what the portrait meant. Some believed it symbolized a new chapter for the family. Others simply saw it as a beautiful reminder of how strong the Busby bond is. But one thing was clear. The image touched people in a powerful way. Even fans who had not followed the show recently were surprised when they saw the picture. Some said they had no idea how much the girls had grown. Others admitted they had to look twice because they almost didn't recognize the family at first. It wasn't because the Busbys had changed who they are. It was because time had changed everything around them. Children grow. Families evolve. Life moves forward. And sometimes, a single photograph captures that truth better than anything else. Danielle's portrait seemed to do exactly that. It captured a moment in time, a moment that reminded fans of everything this family has experienced together. From the early days of newborn chaos, to the busy years of raising energetic little girls, to the present moment where those girls are becoming young individuals with bright futures ahead of them. And that realization left many fans in complete disbelief. Not disbelief in a negative way, but the kind of disbelief that comes when you suddenly realize how quickly life changes. For Danielle, sharing that portrait may have simply been a way to celebrate her family. But for fans, it became something much bigger. It became a reminder of a journey they have followed for years. A journey filled with laughter, tears, challenges, and unforgettable moments. And if the reaction to the portrait proves anything, it's that the Busby family continues to hold a special place in the hearts of viewers everywhere. Because even after all these years, people are still watching, still caring, still cheering for this remarkable family. And judging by the overwhelming reaction to Danielle's family portrait, that connection between the Busbys and their fans is stronger than ever. As the hours passed after Danielle Busby shared the family portrait, the reactions from fans only continued to grow stronger. What started as a simple social media post slowly turned into a massive conversation across fan pages, forums, and comment sections. People weren't just liking the photo.
They were studying it,
looking closely at every little detail. Fans zoomed in on the expressions of each family member, trying to capture the emotions behind the smiles. Many viewers said the photo felt different from the usual Busby family pictures.
not in a bad way,
but in a way that made people pause and think. Some fans pointed out how peaceful the moment looked. With 6 daughters in the household, the Busby home has always been full of energy, laughter, noise, and sometimes chaos. Yet the portrait seemed to capture a rare calm moment. A moment where the entire family stood together as one. One fan commented that the picture felt almost symbolic, like a snapshot of everything the Busby family has worked so hard to build over the years. Another fan wrote that seeing the whole family together reminded them of how much dedication Danielle and Adam have poured into raising their daughters. Raising 6 kids is not easy. Raising 6 daughters is even more challenging. And raising 5 daughters who were born at the same time? That's something very few people in the world can truly understand. That's one of the reasons the Busby story has always fascinated viewers. It's not just about the uniqueness of the Quintuplets. It's about the everyday moments that come with parenting such a large family. The struggles, the laughter, the unpredictable surprises. And through it all, Danielle has often been the emotional center of the family. Fans have watched her balance motherhood, work, health struggles, and the pressures that come with living life in the public eye. So when she shared the portrait, many followers felt it represented something deeper than just a family photo. It felt like a celebration of resilience, a celebration of family, and a celebration of how far they've come. Some fans began sharing their own memories of watching the Busby family from the very beginning. One viewer wrote that they started watching the show when the Quintuplets were still newborns. They remembered the tiny babies lying in hospital incubators, the uncertainty, the nervous anticipation as doctors monitored their progress. Back then, the world watched closely, hoping that all 5 girls would grow strong and healthy. Now, looking at the portrait, those same babies are vibrant young girls full of personality. It's the kind of transformation that makes people emotional. Another fan said the picture reminded them of their own family. They said watching the Busbys over the years made them appreciate their own parents more. Because raising children, whether it's 1 child or 6, requires patience, love, and endless commitment. Some comments also focused on the bond between the sisters. The Quintuplets have always shared a special connection. Growing up together at the same age means they've experienced every stage of life side by side. From their first steps, to their first days at school, to the everyday adventures that come with childhood. Fans often notice how each girl has developed her own unique personality. Some are more playful, some are more thoughtful, some are more energetic. But together, they form a close-knit group that clearly cares deeply for one another. And in the family portrait, that connection seemed very visible. The girls stood close together, smiling naturally, looking comfortable in the moment. Many fans said that authenticity is exactly what makes the Busby family so special. They don't feel staged. They don't feel overly polished. They feel real. Of course, there were also plenty of comments about how much the girls have grown. It's one thing to hear about children growing up, but seeing it in a single image can be surprisingly powerful. Fans who haven't followed the show recently said they were shocked when they saw the photo. Some even admitted they had to check twice to make sure it was the same family. The Quintuplets, who were once tiny toddlers running around the house, now look like confident young girls. Blake, the oldest sister, looked especially mature in the portrait. Fans have watched her grow from a little girl adjusting to life with 5 new siblings into a supportive older sister who clearly loves her role in the family. Over the years, she has often helped her parents manage the busy household. And many fans admire how gracefully she has embraced that responsibility. One comment described her as the calm leader of the sisters. Another fan said they could see the pride in her smile while standing next to her younger siblings. Meanwhile, Danielle and Adam stood at the center of the portrait, looking relaxed and happy. For longtime viewers, that alone felt meaningful, because the Busby parents have faced their share of challenges. Between health scares, work pressures, and the daily responsibilities of raising 2.9 daughters, there have been moments when things seemed overwhelming. Yet through it all, they've continued to support each other and their family. That's another reason why fans connected so strongly with the portrait. It showed a family that has stayed together through everything, a family that continues to grow stronger, and a family that still values the simple moments of being together. As the discussion around the portrait continued, some fans began sharing how the Busby family has influenced their own lives. One viewer said watching OutDaughtered inspired them to become more patient as a parent. Another said the show helped them realize that no family is perfect, and that's okay. Because what truly matters is love, support, and being there for each other. These kinds of comments highlight the deeper impact the Busby family has had on their audience. For many people, the show was never just entertainment. It became a source of comfort, a reminder that family life can be messy, unpredictable, and exhausting, but also incredibly meaningful. And the portrait Danielle shared seemed to capture that message perfectly. One photo, one moment, but years of memories behind it. Some fans even said the picture felt like a milestone, not necessarily marking the end of something, but acknowledging how much time has passed since the Busby journey first began. Time has a way of moving quickly, especially when you're raising children. One day they're learning to walk. The next day they're running through the house, laughing with their siblings. Before you know it, they're growing into young individuals ready to explore the world around them. For Danielle and Adam, that realization must feel both beautiful and emotional. Parents often say that watching their children grow up is one of the most rewarding experiences in life. But it can also be bittersweet, because every milestone means leaving another stage behind. Looking at the portrait, many fans could sense that mixture of pride and nostalgia. It's the kind of feeling that doesn't need to be explained. You can simply see it in the smiles. As the conversation online continued, one thing became clear. Danielle Busby may have shared the portrait simply to celebrate her family, but the reaction from fans showed just how meaningful that simple act can be. In a world where social media is often filled with noise and negativity, a genuine family moment managed to capture thousands of hearts.
People stopped scrolling.
They paused. They reflected. And for a brief moment, they remembered why they fell in love with the Busby story in the first place. Because at its core, the story has always been about family. A mother and father doing their best to raise 6 daughters. 6 sisters growing up together and forming lifelong bonds. And a group of fans who have followed their journey every step of the way. That connection is rare. Not every reality TV family manages to build that kind of lasting relationship with viewers. But the Busbys did. And the overwhelming reaction to Danielle's family portrait proves that the bond between the Busby family and their fans is still incredibly strong. Years after their story first began, people are still watching,
Still supporting them.
still feeling inspired by their journey. And sometimes, all it takes is a single photograph to remind everyone just how special that journey has been. Danielle's portrait may have been simple, but the emotions it sparked were anything but. For many fans, it wasn't just a picture. It was a reminder of a family they've grown to care about deeply. A reminder of the years they've spent watching the Busbys laugh, struggle, and grow together. And, perhaps most importantly, it was a reminder that time moves quickly, but the memories we create along the way can last forever. People who had been watching OutDaughtered since the beginning remember when the Quintuplets were tiny newborns fighting for strength in the hospital. Those early days were emotional and intense. Doctors, nurses, and family members were all focused on making sure the babies would survive and grow healthy. And now, looking at the portrait Danielle shared, it's hard to believe those fragile little babies are now energetic young girls.